We were very blessed that we had as a teacher Miss Joan Willies, who was a member of the Royal Miniature Society in London. She took us under her wing and taught us the traditional techniques of painting miniatures that she learned from her teacher back in the 1930s, Mr. Frank Mole, who was born in the 1890s. Miss Joan left us a few years ago, but we always cherished the memories that we had that we could share with her down in her house in Clearwater, Florida. Being born in Bristol, England, Miss Joan taught us from person to person, and not from a book or from a video, so we were handed down the British tradition straight from England. Her teacher, Mr. Mole, was a member of the esteemed Royal Academy. We now travel across the eastern United States at 18th century events demonstrating these techniques, and I've now had the privilege to join the Washington Miniature Society and have won a few awards, but still have a long way to go. Good day, this is David Gillespie from Pumpkin Town Primitives. I just have finished a portrait miniature that I'm very excited to show you, and if you like portrait miniatures, modern or antique, please consider subscribing to our channel below and also liking or commenting. This is more of a modern type of portrait miniature as the subject is recent. Usually I do 18th century subjects. It is of a man named Mr. Anderson, and Mr. Anderson, this is him at his 90th birthday party, and Mr. Anderson received this book as a gift. One that he had had back in his childhood, from my understanding. So the one who commissioned this portrait wanted to commemorate or memorialize this occasion, and I thought it was a great subject for a portrait miniature. So this was taken in a dark restaurant under low light, and so the reference photograph that I used had a lot of dark tones in the background, and especially muted color in the face, so I tried to show that low light, and without giving it a restaurant look, I kind of give it an ethereal look with this blue here. I never like my backgrounds to be a solid color, so but anyway, this is my latest one. This is watercolor, and the glasses were interesting to paint and fascinating, and I enjoyed the glasses very much, especially the little highlights on the rims. And then as we work our way down the face, the little catch on the or the zipper here on the bottom, tried to put a little highlight there to show that. The sweater was just a gray cotton type sweater, so I tried to portray that, and you can see all the implements there on the table, the spoon and the fork and the napkin, and the glass of liquid there looks like a champagne possibly. And then the book, I tried to make it legible, The Boy's King Arthur, which is the name of the title of the book, and you can see the size of the quarter in relation to it. So it was a very challenging thing to get those letters that small, but a lot of fun nonetheless. And the knight on the back of the horse and the shield there. So in case you're wondering, the overall height of this miniature, the image size from the top of the frame to the bottom of the frame, the inside of the frame to the inside of the frame, top to bottom, is 2 5/16 inches. So it's just a little over 2 1/4 inches tall. The image size from left to right is 1 13/16. So just a little under 2 inches on the width, and a little over 2 1/4 inches on the height. So here is the current painting we're talking about, compared to another one that I've done in the last year or so of our friend Cheryl Childress. As you can see, it's much smaller. So this would be more of a size for the French and Indian War, 1750s through the 70s per se. And I think it's more about 2 inches tall from top to bottom versus the 2.5, counting the frame. So, and of course, this one already has its glass installed. So as far as size goes, this is an original in my collection on the right of a portrait miniature from about 1795. So this size is typical of the late 18th century. Early to mid 18th century, they were much smaller and meant to be worn. And this one is what I would call a cabinet size miniature. It's one to be displayed, can be worn, but it's a little on the larger side, being about 2.5 inches tall with the frame. So, but anyway, there's a look at both pieces. I think I literally could have spent months on this piece because there's so much detail that could have been gotten, and I really enjoyed painting this one here in particular. So there's one particular painting that I think it reminds me of that I saw at the Victoria and Albert in London, and I'll show a picture of it here next. So as you can see, this is a beautiful painting, and it's meant to portray the very moment that the subject opened the letter as a thank you to the person who wrote the letter. And it just, to me, is very endearing, from 1780. I think that's kind of what I would like to portray here, is that aha moment where Mr. Anderson gets his gift from his friend, and it's a very special moment. And I love doing paintings like this, and to me this one was very, very special, and I'm very thankful to the Lord for the privilege to paint it. I just wanted to show along the bottom here, I actually do sign each piece, and I try to make it as less noticeable as possible. Try to hide it right along the rim, but I sign it James David J.D. Gillespie 2022, and then the letters MPSGS, which I'm a member of the Washington Society of Miniature Painters, Sculptors, and Engravers, so our initials that we can put as members is MPSGS for Miniature Painters, Sculptors, and Engravers Society of Washington, D.C. So as a member of that society, it's one of the oldest, it's the second oldest portrait miniature societies in the world, and it's the largest miniature society in the world, I think, now even larger than the Royal Miniature Society in London. I know in years past we've had over 720 entries per show. So, Lord's willing, maybe this one will make it into the September 22 show. We will see if Providence will allow that to come to pass. Even the frame itself is handmade in the United Kingdom. It's 24 karat gold plated, and completely handmade by a friend of mine. So it's a completely handmade product from one end to the other. It has a little velvet back on it, the ones that I like to use, and I always photograph it without the lens in it. So these always have a lens over the top, or it's a convex lens, so that way as it is a watercolor, any specks of water would ruin the watercolor, so it must be protected. So maybe someday I'll post a video on how is a safe way that we recommend people to clean the portrait miniatures without damaging them. So here it is after the glass has been installed and it's been put into its little box. So looking forward to posting that and seeing the reaction of the subject and the gift, the one who gave the gift. So here are some pictures of Mr. Anderson after he received his portrait miniature after his 90th birthday. The photograph for the portrait miniature was taken at his 85th birthday. I also had the privilege to speak with Mr. Anderson on the phone after he got his miniature, and was delighted to find out that he actually is a collector, an avid collector of portrait miniatures as well. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and like and comment below if you have any questions. Look forward to hearing from you.